么选择最能为人类福利而劳动的职业，那么重担就不能把我们压倒。这是为中子梦想。
Well, they did it, folks. They actually f***ing did it. While you were lounging around in your capitalist bedroom, the Chinese Communist Party was making bigger moves. And by making big moves, I don't mean the Chinese Communist Party was revitalizing the lives of the Chinese people by making businesses and new government bureaus or building hospitals and doing charity. No. The Chinese Communist Party was doing something much more important, and I think we'll all agree. They were producing anime, but they weren't making just any anime. No, they couldn't put out the same isekai you see 10 times a season or the next big shonen series. The Chinese Communist Party had something much bigger in mind. So while you were catching up on all these bunk-ass seasonals that you normie anime fans like so much, China was making an anime about none other than Karl Marx. And if you don't know who Karl Marx is, you should read a book, because I'm honestly not going to explain it. Just kidding. I'm gonna give you the simplest explanation of who Karl Marx is. He's the dude who invented socialism. Ooh. But yes, unironically, the Communist Party of China was enlisted to make a romantic drama anime surrounding the life of Karl Marx. And I'm gonna answer the first question that's popping into your mind right now. Yes, it's CGI. And honestly, it's better than Berserk. I'll give it that. It's better than Berserk. Like, I severely hate CGI anime, as you know if you watch my videos. But this actually isn't terrible. Like, it's actually not that bad. Like, most of the time I try to go and pick up a CGI anime, like, let's say Kingdom, for example. That was one I tried to watch because, you know, I do history and stuff. So I tried to watch Kingdom initially, and when I clicked the first episode and I saw CGI, I immediately closed out of Crunchyroll. I was not doing it. Like, I don't like CGI. But for some reason, the CGI made by the Chinese Communist Party is legitimately not terrible. But it's not good. I'm not gonna say it's good, because it's not. And yes, it's in Chinese, and I know some of you are saying, well, it's not anime because it wasn't made in Japan and it's not in Japanese. And, you know, technically, you are correct. But at the same time, this is definitely just like manhwa and just like everything else. This is an anime ripoff, and it was obviously made to seem like an anime because most anime is, well, banned in China. Or I guess I should say anime is not banned in China, but they've banned like over 38 of like the biggest anime titles ever in the last 10 years. For example, My Hero Academia, Tokyo Ghoul, and of course Attack on Titan. So they can watch anime, but I mean, you've cut out a lot of the big ones there. Now I realize I've been rambling for way too long and I haven't even told you the name of this wonderful anime or where you can find it and watch it. So this wonderful dramatized rendition of Karl Marx's life is called The Leader. Simply just The Leader. And you can find all of it on YouTube. It's only 7 episodes. They're about 20 minutes long, you know, your typical anime fashion. Essentially, The Leader just highly dramatizes Karl Marx's life, including his relationship with his wife and his relationship with Friedrich Engels and, you know, etc., etc. It's basically just a huge teenage, like, take Riverdale or like Teen Wolf and make that into an anime about Karl Marx. That's it's basically what you're getting here. And they made The Leader, the Chinese Communist Party made The Leader specifically to appeal to the younger audience and get them to understand Marxism and Marx's ideology. And I'm not gonna lie, it's actually not the worst thing in the world, and there's actually a lot to learn about Marxist philosophy and Karl Marx's life from it, as stupid as that actually sounds. You can actually watch this and take some context away from it if you want to. But with that being said, it's not really entertaining because it's just inherently not great. Like, it's a 6 out of 10. My anime list gives it a 6 out of 10, and I think that's a completely fair rating. It's a solid 6 out of 10. And of course, it's in Chinese, and reading subtitles when someone is speaking Chinese versus when somebody is speaking Japanese is obviously very, very different, and the pace at which you watch it and consume it is a bit different from your typical Japanese subtitled anime. But that's not to discredit from the absolutely amazing, and yes, I'm gonna say amazing, the absolutely amazing soundtrack that this anime has. I mean, the intro is actually good. Like, the Chinese, I don't know who made the music. I don't know if the Chinese Communist Party drafted somebody to make the music or hired somebody to make the music and then they came in and did it like professional musicians, or if they just took songs that were already created. But I don't think they did that because the outro is literally like a chronological order of Karl Marx's life. So the intro is this really dreamy, like dramatic song, kind of similar to like Red Swan from Attack on Titan by Hyde. Y'all are gonna hate me for that comparison, but that's kind of what it sounds like. At least when I heard it, that's the comparison I drew. And the outro is, like I said, it's a rap song that's a chronological animated tale of Karl Marx's life. And then of course at the end you get a nice shot of Tiananmen Square and the Chinese flag waving in the background with like a portrait of Mao Zedong, because of course this is a propaganda film. It's a propaganda anime. I mean, nothing you can do about that. And funny enough, like I mentioned earlier in the video, the Chinese Communist Party made the leader so that they could teach Marxism to younger audiences, so they could make Marxism appeal to younger audiences, because as you know, China follows Marxism in their own twisted way, as most communist governments have. I'm using air quotes because none of these really apply to how these countries are ran, but you know. So young people actually started watching the leader in China and even around the world. I think it said that it pulled like 8 million viewers in its first episode, which is absurd for just the whole context of this entire fucking anime. But people were watching it, and young Chinese university students were watching it, and it actually caused some issues in China because young people were realizing that the Chinese Communist Party wasn't actually following the tenets of Marxism that Marx was teaching through the leader anime and through his philosophy, right? They discovered that the Chinese Communist Party's viewpoint on Marxism was not how Marxism was actually supposed to be, and they started revolting at their universities, and it's actually causing huge issues for China. And keep in mind, the leader was supposed to be pure propaganda just to prop up the Chinese Communist Party and to get people to agree more with what they have to say and their policies in China. Obviously, it had the opposite effect, which I find hilarious. And keep in mind, the leader released in 2019, so not all of this is like super relevant to like modern international politics or anything, but it says here that although it was criticized for poor animation, propagandism, and its depiction of Marx, it has sparked a discussion on Marxism and labor rights in China. But wait, there's more. Not only did you have university students revolting because of their subpar labor conditions and educational conditions, you had reporters worried that the depiction of Marx and Friedrich Engels's friendship in the leader would cause artists online to make yaoi about them. So now the Chinese government, in their creation of the leader, is concerned that there is going to be a sharp increase in gay anime because of the leader. That's something else. So yeah, I think this goes to say that anime fans, no matter if they're in China, Japan, the United States, the the United Kingdom, France, or wherever you are, they will always find a way to unnecessarily or necessarily, depending on where you're coming from, lewd anything, any series. It doesn't matter. There's going to be hentai for it, and there's nothing you can do, and there's nothing the Chinese Communist Party can do to control the excessive amount of yaoi that's coming from the leader. You know, actually, I guess they could do something because they have like complete control over the internet, so they could just ban any uploads of Karl Marx yaoi, and I'm sure they've already done that, so, I mean, I guess they won in the end. But what China can't do is stop you, if you're an artist watching this video, or an artist in general, from making yaoi about this series. You can't stop the DeviantArt uploads. You're not going to be able to. The Karl Marx and Friedrich Engels communism, Marxism hentai is going to continue. But I think that's it for me, guys. I hope you enjoyed this video. Go check out The Leader. Learn about some Marxism if you want. I mean, you can learn from one of the great Marxist-Leninist sources themselves, the Chinese Communist Party. So go educate yourself. Make some yaoi if you so desire. And I will see you in the next video. Hasta luego, comrades. Also remember to like and subscribe. Thank you.